Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. I'm Imake and thank you very much for tuning in. If it's your first time here, I hope you enjoy the content. Let me know in the comment section if you have any criticisms. I'll be happy to take that into account and work on bringing you guys more relevant content as we go on. And for those of you who are regulars here, you know what to do. Hit the like button, dislike button. Let me know your thoughts and give me any suggestions that you want to see showcased on the channel. Now, today I want to talk about the Red Hood. I want to talk about his popularity and why I feel like he's been really underrated because, many have seen him as some sort of a, not necessarily your couth Batman family character. Yet, the idea and the reality is he's actually much more popular, than some of the other Bat family members. And the reason I say that is because of specific instances that you've seen Red Hood being showcased in the animated series, the source materials, or maybe even the comic books, depending on what you kind of use to enjoy Batman and DC content. For me, it'll be the animated series. That's kind of what, I've basically exposed myself to over the years. And I have to say, when I started going back to, find a catalog of Batman animated series, I'm talking about the movies, not just Batman Beyond and, the Batman from 1996 or something, or 93, I can't remember. I basically ran into a movie called Batman Under the Red Hood. And I didn't know what to expect when I first fired this movie on. And for sure, I can say that that is my best Batman animated series till date because there were so many elements to that movie and the writing was phenomenal. And since then, Red Hood has just stuck in my head. Well, come down the line, Batman Arkham Knight comes out, and guess what? The Red Hood is in the game. I don't feel like they did him a lot of justice in his writing. There was so much that went on. The community kind of figured out that the Arkham Knight was Red Hood, Jason Todd himself, but Stephen Hill's team over at Rocksteady kind of said, well, it's a new character and all that stuff, trying to throw people off their scent, but it necessarily didn't work. All that kind of just did was open the door for more story critique. Now, to be very fair and to be very honest, Batman Arkham Knight had a host of rogues in Batman's Rogue Gallery, and to have written all of them to be pristine would have been basically a much bigger undertaking than Rocksteady would have probably had time to do in the time that they actually had to make and produce Batman Arkham Knight. I genuinely think that a continuation could have seen the Red Hood basically do well. But now Gotham Knights is coming out and we actually do have a chance or a shot to get to see what the writers are going to do with Jason Todd. And I hope they're going to do something really cool with him. But now that I've diverged off that lane, let me talk about why I feel Red Hood is very popular. Now, if you look at the Bat Sons, you look at Nightwing, you look at Robin, I'm talking about Tim Drake, and even Damian Wayne, there's something that is very, very interesting about all of them. You have some of them that are like your prep boys, and then you have some of them that are basically broken and busted human beings. Now, we can almost divide it down the middle if you wanted to call, say, the four Bat Sons, who are basically Damian, Tim, William, Tim, basically Dick and Jason Todd. You can say that Tim and what's his name, Nightwing, are basically your prep boys. They are usually, in many cases, very level-headed, very clear-minded, and they do things in a way that is more to impress Batman themselves, which is basically what every Robin has kind of found himself doing from time to time. But then when it comes to Damian, it's a really weird family dynamic. I think Damian was written to be this very corrosive character in Batman's life, and he does a very good job there. But Jason, on the other hand, has, to me, a very deeper, broken, and weird story that you somewhat have to sympathize with him, because the predicament is not necessarily one that is his fault, nor is a predicament one that is necessarily Batman's fault as well, or you can blame it on the Batman. I think Jason Todd was used to show the vulnerability of Bruce Wayne to that extent, where they basically took a Robin of his and put him in the hands of one of his biggest arch nemesis, and that nemesis, the Joker, tortures and kills him, and Batman basically mourns and moves on, but then to find out that this character is not dead but is upset that Batman did not come back and try to help him. And so this dynamic is really, really intense. It is in fact one of the most intense dynamics, because this is somebody who the Batman trained that is basically trying to come after the Batman, depending on the the storyline that you follow, in a way that the Batman is, in some sense, almost overpowered, because a lot of the Batman's technique, a lot of what the Batman knows, he has taught to this particular protege. And the protege now has a weird, I would say, frame of mind when it comes to what has happened to them, because the Lazarus Pit, so-called whatever, basically resurrected them, and now they're more twisted than ever. I think this dynamic makes Jason Todd a much more compelling character that anyone in the Arkham series can say, at least, even though they may not be fans of this character, he is definitely a character that they can sympathize with. I think this particular dynamic is well underrated by a lot of people, because Nightwing basically has a lot of fans. Batman has a lot of fans. Batgirl, I don't know many who like Batgirl. I'm a Batgirl fan, big time. I really enjoyed the way she was actually portrayed in Arkham Origins. That would be the only story that compelled me to actually be a fan of Batgirl, and that's even basically Barbara Gordon, which was written as a character who was very interested in seeing and helping Batman. So to me, I thought, man, that's somebody that's really loyal to the cause. As a big, huge Batman fan, that's somebody that you definitely have to pay some respects to. But Jason Todd, on the other hand, has always been that very dynamic story addition that anyone who actually goes and looks into the character's story has to pretty much say, okay, this is really weird, but I can actually understand that the brokenness of, villainy and superheroes, and the brokenness and the mistakes and just the things that you can't control, this is basically one of them. And it not only haunted the Batman, it got to live with him. And I think this is why a lot of players are very excited about this character in Gotham Knights. In fact, one of the things that spurred this video was I think it was a poll that was taken on Twitter. I think it was Slickmoth who put this poll together, and, he asked, who are you going to be playing in Gotham Knights? And basically the Red Hood won that poll. Now, that is a small sample of players. We can't take that as a representative of all of the players who will be playing, the Gotham Knights game, but it's still interesting that even for those who are on Twitter, for those who are usually following the news closely, that their favorite character, or the character that they're more inclined to, is this character. And at the center of it, I think my, hypothesis as to why he may be more popular is at the center of why many people seem to be very, inclined to playing him. Now, I have to say at the end of this video, as a caveat, there are people who couldn't care at all if this guy existed in the Batman series at all. They do not like Jason Todd. They don't like the story. They don't like the character. They didn't even care about him. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine as well. For me, I think, I'm going to say it. I think the person that I necessarily am not too keen on when it comes to characters is basically Nightwing. For some strange reason, I know he's a beloved character of many people. I'm not saying I don't like him. I just necessarily don't find any way to connect with him. I'd rather find myself connecting more with Batgirl and with Jason Todd. I just don't know why. I think that's one of the reasons Gotham Knights came out, because they wanted to give players variety, and they wanted to give players options where they could find themselves and not necessarily be stuck on another, good old Batman game again. I think that may have been the reasoning behind bringing these 4 Knights to the forefront. But let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. I've given my own hypothesis. Let me hear your own thoughts. Do you think Jason Todd is that popular? Or do you think players, have not necessarily been able to express who they want to play in a more controlled setting? Do you think there's another Gotham Knight that's actually more popular than Jason Todd in a sense, or more dynamic? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening to the video. I appreciate you guys a lot. Hopefully we'll talk in another one. Peace out.